All right. Good afternoon, Excellencies, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Talkshow on Youth and Women in Energy Transition, organized with the support of the ASEAN German Energy Program. My name is Jen, and I'll be the MC for today's talk show. Ladies and gentlemen, the ASEAN German Energy Program is a jointly implemented program by the ASEAN Center for Energy and GIZ on behalf of the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. This program aims to strengthen ASEAN Center for Energy's role as a regional center of excellence for sustainable energy. Currently, the ASEAN German Energy Program is on its second phase with more focus on developing ASEAN Center for Energy as an institution, improving data availability, and promoting sustainable energy in the region. Today's talk show will touch upon the benefits of sustainable energy and why it is crucial for the region. This talk show will be divided into two sessions. The first session will address the roles of youth in energy transition, and the second session will discuss roles of women in energy transition. Now, before we move on to the next agenda, I'd like to remind the audience on several house rules. First, this talk show is recorded and currently being live streamed at the ASEAN Foundation's Facebook page. Second, for the audience, please rename yourself in the Zoom according to your name and country. Example can be seen on the screen. If you have any questions that you would like to ask to the speakers, please write it in the Q&A box below and write your comment in the chat box. Your microphone is muted and video is turned off because this talk show is chat-based. To obtain a certificate from this talk show, please fill the survey link at the end of this talk show. We will send the e-certificate and speaker's PPT to your email. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin today's talk show, I'm pleased to invite Dr. Yang Mi-eng, Executive Director of the ASEAN Foundation, to greet us all and deliver her opening remarks. Dr. Yang, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Jen. Mr. Rizky Fauziato, Team Leader of GIZ, Mr. Septia Buntara, Manager of Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, Department of ASEAN Center for Energy, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar that highlights youth and women in energy transition. Please allow me to extend my appreciation to you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to attend this webinar. In 2015, 10 ASEAN member states reiterate their commitment to continue expanding sustainable energy solutions region-wide as a way to realize the ASEAN Economic Community 2025, which envisions ASEAN as an integrated, cohesive, competitive, innovative, and dynamic region through the ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation 2016-2025. With the COVID-19 threat still looming large above us, we are now entering the critical second phase of the action plan. If the pandemic has taught us anything, it's that sustainable energy is now more important than ever. And we need everyone to do their part in promoting the importance of sustainable energy as the right way of life. In early 2021, the ASEAN Foundation and ASEAN German Energy Program, a jointly implemented program by ASEAN Center for Energy and GIZ on behalf of the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, or BMZ, launched the ASEAN Photo Competition 2021 with the theme of ASEAN Youth Shaping the Vision of Sustainable Energy as the New Normal. By promoting many people around us that we are doing something good for the environment through photo medium. So we intend to show that the efforts to initiate and foster sustainable energy are already taking place as we speak now. And that it is indeed possible for everyone to contribute to the efforts. So it is not only specific groups, we are talking about everyone playing their part. I'm delighted to inform that the program is still going strong Now, as the 10 top finalists gearing up for the workshop on virtual visual storytelling, which will be conducted soon. So through this webinar, we would like to once again emphasize the importance of every single key stakeholders of ASEAN taking part in attaining and accelerating the efforts to achieve reliable and sustainable energy for all. It is our hope that shaping by sharing, we will together do through this webinar, we inspire more youth and women. So today we are targeting at youth and women to take on a more active role by becoming agents of change that inspire people to adopt sustainable energy as their new normal. So we hope that all of you today, after the webinars and sharing, will be inspired to do more and to continue all your effort to have a better environment for our human beings in the future. So I wish you a productive discussion and stay safe, and thank you all. Enjoy the session. Back to Jen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yan, for your wonderful remarks. Now, I'd like to invite Mr. Rizky Fauzianto, team leader of the GIZ, to deliver his remarks. Mr.
Yeah.
Rizky, the screen is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Jen. Distinguished Executive Director of ASEAN Foundation, Dr. Yang Mei Eng, Distinguished Manager of RE&E Department of ASEAN Center for Energy, Mr. Septia Buntara. A very good afternoon to all speakers, participants, and colleagues from ASEAN Center for Energy, ASEAN Foundation, and GIZ. First of all, I would like to welcome you all in this webinar as part of our youth photo competitions and our effort on promoting role of women and youth in energy sector in ASEAN region. This webinar and the youth photo competitions are held by the ASEAN German Energy Program, or AGEP, a joint cooperation program implemented by ACE and GIZ together with ASEAN Foundation. In this occasion, I also would like to say that I'm very happy to see that most of speakers and moderators in this webinar are female. Only one is male, and many of the speakers are high-ranked females, such as Dr. Yang, Ibu Tri Mumpuni, and Mrs. Munlika. It shows that how female is taking more key role in leading position in this energy sector. This is also aligned with our AGEP project's purpose, which is to promote the development of the project with a gender-responsive approach. To AGEP, gender equality means that we are making sure that men and women have the same opportunity. The operation of gender balance has been successfully shown in the participation of our events. Women showed active role of 42% in all AGEP workshops, training, and event throughout 2017 until 2019. Together with ASEAN Center for Energy, AGEP also promotes gender responsiveness approach across in the ASEAN region as to strengthen renewable energy deployment. To achieve 100% energy access goal in ASEAN, it requires all people, no matter what your gender is. Not only on female participations, I'm also happy to say that our project also focus on youth involvement in energy sector. We did some study on promoting benefits of RE to youth in ASEAN a few years ago. You can also download it from our website. According to our study, more than half of the ASEAN people is younger than 30 years old. 8 out of 10 ASEAN member states having median population age between 20 to 35 years old. As of 2018, there were approximately 200 million youths in ASEAN. It shows as well that youth can also play a bigger role on promoting energy transition in this region. Maybe a little bit background for the participants. ASEAN is growing rapidly with the GDP and population growth among the highest globally, 650 million people and GDP of more than 7 trillion US dollar. But the electrification rate in some countries are still low. Fossil fuel use is still high, and the regional target to achieve in 2025 can be a challenge. The biggest challenge might come from these three possible issues. The first one is energy trilemma, which are security, affordability, and sustainability. There are no energy sources can fulfill these three at once. In ASEAN, for now, the priority is energy access and affordable to everyone. That's why the government are still going for the fossil fuel. Second one is energy demand is growing. And the third one is lack of financial support for RE project in some of ASEAN member states. Added with the COVID-19, the severity of the outbreak has influenced energy policy strategy for many governments in ASEAN. However, after more than 1 year dealing with this COVID, ASEAN in particular have faced the pandemic relatively well, seeing from the lens of health, social, and economic. That being said, and also seeing the potential of youth and women's role on energy sector to go for more clean and sustainable energy, I would say that the future of energy transition in this region is very bright. All of you as youth and women can play a big role in making regional campaign of energy transition a success. You can be as a target audience, enabler, and multiplier. Please go spread about the awareness on using clean energy to other people, since if we all doing it, it can have a great impact of energy transition in ASEAN. You, especially youth, are the change agent with social media as influencer, YouTuber, TikTokers, and bloggers. You can give great push to the government and community to go to clean energy for better life and better world we live in. That would close my remark. I hope it ignites some fire on your eyes. Have a fruitful webinar. Thank you very much. And back to you, Miss MC Chen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rizky, for your engaging remarks. Up next, I'd like to invite Mr. Septia Buntara, Manager for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency at the ASEAN Center for Energy, to address us all. Mr. Septia, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, MC, for the gracious introduction. Dr. Yang Mieng, the Executive Director of the ASEAN Foundation, Mr. Rizky Fauzianto, Team Leader of GIZ AGEP, colleagues from the ASEAN Center for Energy, distinguished speakers, good afternoon to all of you. Dear participants, I do agree what have been mentioned earlier by Dr. Yang Mi and Mr. Rizky. I do believe there is nothing too young to start, there is nothing too late to care, and most importantly, nothing about gender boundary could stop us. We just need belief, passion, and persistence to achieve something. And on this occasion, we all agree that we need to take care more benefit of people and environment through the energy sector. But before we start our efforts, let's ensure we know where we are, what is the challenge surround us, and how is the situation and opportunity we could involve and support effectively. This workshop was designed to support us, especially the youngsters, to know more about the energy sector, the transitional era that we are facing right now. Let's learn from the existing experience, then let's move ahead to give our best effort or contribution to the suitable option of energy development in our country and to the region. So what is the best option for the future energy development? To define this, let's see the latest situation. From the 6th ASEAN Energy Outlook, majority of ASEAN electricity comes from coal and natural gas power plant. From our latest data, natural gas plants had the largest share of total installed capacity, which is around 36%. And this followed by coal and hydropower, accounting for 31% and 20% of total installed capacity, respectively. And how is the renewable energy? Apart from hydropower, other renewable energies such as solar, biomass, geothermal, and wind collectively account for only 6%. And behind that, energy-related greenhouse gas emission in ASEAN countries were about 1,600 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. Then it will be in 2025, and it will be double and more than double, I guess, in 2040. So the question, are we ready for this? So therefore, the best option is always dynamic. It is also depend on the demand, and the demand will depend on the situation. Situation will never be the same, especially when COVID-19 comes. So what we can do, we need to empty our glass. We need to learn a lot, to adopt rapidly, to provide innovative solution for the Mother Earth, which getting older time to time. Yes, renewable energy is a solution, but we need to ensure the genuineness of its usage. The reason behind it development is should only for the one purpose, the balance between humanity and nature. No greediness, no egotism, just sincerity of life. And wording is not enough. We need to action from all elements to move better within this transitional era. Let's contribute from whatever you can do in your capacity right now, and please enjoy the workshop. That conclude my remarks. Thank you all for the attention. Back to you, MC.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Septia, for your insightful remarks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the discussion, to give everybody a quick warm-up, I'd like to invite our audience to take part in an ice-breaking game at menti.com. And this game will be led by my colleague, Stephen. So, Stephen, I pass the screen to you.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to see everyone here. We'll have a quick Menti game. Can everyone just please go to www.menti.com. I'll quickly put on the screen for everybody to see. Can everyone just quickly enter that? And our game can start. The first question I'd like to ask everybody is, can you tell us about you, the audience? Just tell us about your nationality. Where do you come from? What part of ASEAN in the region do you come from? You can do this by just entering the code. Has everyone joined? Oh. Here's the code, everybody. Oh, there we go. We have the people joining. That's amazing. Look at this. Vietnam's coming first at the moment. Well, coming strong second is Indonesia. We're coming third is Philippines. Brunei is fourth. And Malaysia's fifth. Hopefully we get some people from Singapore, from Thailand, and from Laos and Cambodia. Come on, Thailand. Show us. Cambodia is finally on the board. Congratulations, Cambodia. Nice to see you. Hopefully we get someone from Laos and from Singapore. That's amazing. We have 90. We almost have 100 participants in this game at the moment. 101 now. And Singapore's finally on the board. Congratulations, Singapore. And the two others, hopefully you can type where you're from in the chat so we know. Okay, I think I'll stop it there and I'll go to the next question. But it's amazing. Congratulations, Indonesia, for coming first, Vietnam for coming second, Philippines for coming third, Myanmar, and then followed by Malaysia and Brunei. The next question is, what is the most popular renewable energy technology in your country? Is it solar? Is it hydropower? Is it wind? Is it biomass? Or is it geothermal? Well, everybody's a solar lover. We all love our sun. We all love the tan, don't we? It's good that hydro and wind is still going strong. Wow. Well, it looks like the majority of Asian countries at the moment are solar powered. That's amazing to see. And we'll go to our last question. Is what kind of activities have you done to support the energy transition? You can type your question. You can type your answers, and everyone can see it. Just tell us, in the last couple of years, what have you actively gone out to help and to do to transition to a more renewable, sustainable lifestyle? Well, volunteering and joining works, that's amazing. Organizing activities. We got 2 upvotes for solar. That's why we're here, everybody, to educate ourselves, to understand what is good and what is a good transition to a more green lifestyle. And working for legislative council member who champions in renewable energy causes. Whoever you are, good job. You're amazing. Okay, thank you for all your answers and thank you for everyone for participating in this warm-up game. I'll give it back to our host, Jenna. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating in the ice-breaking session. And thank you, Stephen, for the exciting game. Now, without further ado, we will begin our first session of today's talk show under the topic of the role of youth in energy transition. This session will be moderated by Ms. Alni Demoral, Technical Officer at the Modeling and Policy Planning Department of the ASEAN Center for Energy. Ms. Alni, I pass the screen to you.
Thank you, Ms. Chen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So, hi, young people of the ASEAN. Welcome to the talk show on youth and women in energy transition, where we talk about sustainable energy and our role in promoting its wider implementation in the ASEAN region. So, I am Almi, your moderator for the first session on the role of youth in energy transition. So in terms of energy landscape, the ASEAN region is actually considered one of the fastest and most dynamic region in the world today, as we are shifting into industrialization and urbanization. But the problem is that we source most of our energy that we need to sustain our economic growth from fossil fuel. which emits high GHG emissions. The increase of GHG emissions in the atmosphere results to increase of global temperature, which alters the natural rhythm of our climate. It has been a global goal to reduce and mitigate our emissions, and transitioning into clean and renewable energy is the best way to do that. However, this feat is never easy, like was mentioned earlier, and requires the contribution from every country, every region, every gender, and every age. Youth isn't an exemption. We have a crucial role in this era of energy transition. So, joining us today to give us some insights on how we youth may involve ourselves in the global movement towards energy transition are our distinguished speakers, Clarice Canta and Zagi Barian. Clarice and Zagi shall introduce us to the works and advocacies of their organizations, Student Energy and the Society of Renewable Energy. But we will be having very interesting presentations from our speakers. So if in any part of the session that you have some questions for them, please feel free to type them in the Q&A box at the lower portion of your screen, and we shall answer them in the latter part of our discussion in the Q&A portion. So now, without further ado, let me introduce you to our first speaker, Clarice Canta. Clarice is the system coordinator at Student Energy, a global youth-led organization empowering young people to accelerate our transition to a just and sustainable energy future. Before joining Student Energy, Clarice worked as a project coordinator for a renewable energy firm in the Philippines, where she supported the planning and construction of a 20-megawatt solar power project. Aside from solar power, she has experience working in wind and geothermal power projects in varying stages of development. Clarice holds a master's degree in energy systems from the University of Melbourne. So Clarice, if you are ready, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Alni, for that warm introduction. Hello, everyone. Such an honor to be here, and major kudos to AGEP, to the Same Foundation, to GIZ, and to ACE for organizing such massive and engaging event. So again, my name is Clarice Canta. I'm the systems coordinator and ASEAN sub-campaign co-lead at Student Energy. I'm proud Filipino, born and raised in the Philippines, and I just recently moved here in Vancouver, Canada. So today I'll talk about the most ambitious initiative of my organization, Student Energy. It's called the Solutions Movement. And then I'll talk about the inspiration and the rationale behind it and how you young people can get involved. So first off, I'd like to share who we are and what we do at Student Energy. As Alni mentioned, we're a global youth-led nonprofit empowering the next generation of leaders who are accelerating our transition to a just and sustainable energy future. So we work with a network of more than 50,000 young people from more than 120 countries to build the skills, knowledge, and network that they need to take action in energy. Next slide, please. Thank you. So we often heard that youth is one of the most vulnerable groups to the impacts of climate change. However, we want to turn that narrative because we believe that young people actually have the capacity, the energy, and the motivation to be the driver of climate action and energy transition. As Student Energy, we see young people as global change agents. And what we do is we funnel them through our various programs in our ecosystem that aims to educate, inspire, unite, and empower them, while also providing the space for young people to act and have meaningful conversations and interactions with business leaders or policymakers. And lastly, we also equip youth with the resources they need, may that be mentorship or seed funding or accessibility funds, so that they can be able to take their clean energy and climate solution into reality. So the blue text here in the screen, as you can see, are the list of Student Energy's current program. We actually started in 2009, and during that time, the first event that we got is the International Student Energy Summit. And we continue doing the International Student Summit every 2 years. We actually held one in Indonesia last 2015. So maybe we have like some of the audience who were able to participate in that event. So yeah, since then, since 2009, our initiatives grew with a mix of educational, community, and capacity building programs catered to young people wherever they are in the stage of their career, whether you're still in university, you're still a student, or whether you're a young professional working in the energy sector or even in a different sector. So for instance, students can start or actually join a student energy chapter. So a chapter is a university-based student club where young people can reinforce their network and meet like-minded young people so that they can do projects together with the guidance from student energy. Another thing is, for instance, if you're quite new to the energy space, for instance, you didn't graduate for a very technical background, maybe you're thinking, oh, I don't have an engineering degree. What can I do? So there's actually a lot of like fundamentals, energy fundamentals resources available in our YouTube channel. For instance, the Hydropower 101 in our YouTube channel has like millions of views. And we also have this energy systems map where we actually map out different technologies, actors, and influences to our energy system. So that's a really nice deep dive if you want to learn and reinforce your energy systems knowledge. Um, all of these programs are geared towards empowering youth to be key actors in our quest for the sustainable energy future. So yeah, as I mentioned, since we started our organization, we've seen massive increase in engagement from young people to be involved in the energy transition. However, there's definitely still a lot of like challenges that young people face in this space. So yeah, so for instance, we gather from our network and through our ongoing Global Youth Energy Outlook, we were able to learn that 74% of the global youth do not have a clear idea how they can get started or how they can start contributing to solving climate crisis. And we also gathered that 82% of young entrepreneurs indicated the lack of financial support as the main barrier to making their enterprise possible. So these are the challenges that's being addressed by our programs. And whenever we design a new program, we keep the need of the youth in mind. So for instance, on the first statistic there, that's being addressed by our chapters, which is the university-based student club and also leaders fellowship. Fellowship is a 10-month cohort-based program that is very heavy on mentorship and developing your project management skills so that participants, once they graduate in the program, they're ready to take on and launch their first community project. And then for the second statistic, that is where Student Energy Ventures comes in. So this is a really exciting upcoming project, Student Energy Ventures. It will be the flagship program of the solutions movement. This is where we'll see the impact of the solutions movement. So in Ventures, young people can receive mentorship, and they can also go through like an educational platform. Maybe they want to be an entrepreneur, so we have that entrepreneurship stream. And we also have streams for more technical and sort of like templated projects. For instance, if you're a young person, you want to build a rooftop solar in a community center in your locality, you can definitely take that more of the guided or like the templated ventures pathway. So lots of exciting things. We'll start recruiting the first batch of ventures participants by the start of next year. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, transition to the next slide. So you might be asking, how does it look like, when a young person break these barriers? What happens when a young person who has this innovative idea have the support that they need? So meet one of our program alumnus, Kakembo. So Kakembo was actually present in the 2015 International Student Energy Summit in Indonesia. So during the summit, like he was so inspired by one of the speakers. And that is also where he started pitching in his idea of having a waste to energy youth project. So
Slides,
after the
3 minutes left.
conference, sorry?
You got 3 minutes left.
Okay, yeah. 2 years after that initial spark of inspiration, he started his own company. However, he didn't receive any funding or coaching. So in 2018, he joined the accelerator program called Greenpreneurs. It's also by Student Energy, and he won seed funding and was able to tap in network of mentors. So fast forward 2020, he was able to engage 200 young people, and his company is a full-fledged enterprise with 16 staff. So just imagine unleashing 1,000 or even like 10,000 more young energy innovative entrepreneurs globally through a well-supported, well-resourced program. And that's what we're trying to achieve with the upcoming ventures. So next slide, please. Now more than ever, young people are driven to implement climate solutions, but yes, maybe they lack resources, or maybe they don't have the skills needed yet, or the network to do so. So hence the solutions movement is our way of bridging the gap between motivation and action. So next slide, please. So exciting things coming up. The solutions movement is about raising $150 million in this decade to expand our ecosystem and our reach with young people globally, while also unlocking our director youth funding through the Ventures program. So we also submitted the solutions movement as our United Nations Energy Compact. Next slide, please. So yeah, this is my last slide. So we're actually in the first phase of the fundraising, and we're looking for partners, whether that be strategic or funding partners. So if you work for a government or foundation, private sector, and you share the same sentiments and same vision as us of empowering young people to lead the energy transition, feel free to message us in that email. And similarly, for young people out there watching, I invite you guys to join the one-day Virtual Student Energy Summit happening in October 8th. And also another exciting thing is the Leaders Fellowship that I mentioned. Will be opening up the application for the 2022 batch by next month. So I'll share the details with that with the ASEAN Foundation. Maybe they can send you the link on how to join those two exciting upcoming events. So lots of exciting events coming up, lots of opportunity for young people to join the movement. And so let me end by saying that, you know, wherever you are and whatever background you might be, you have it in you to be the global change agent and participate in our transition to a more sustainable energy system. Thank you so much. Back to you, Ms. Salmi.
Thank you, Clarice. That was indeed an insightful presentation wherein you highlight that participants doesn't really need to have the prior knowledge in renewable energy, because student energy would actually provide mentorship through university-based student clubs and student energy venture. And I guess many of our participants here would be very interested to join your program. And I think that is also something that we can discuss further in the Q&A portion. So thank you again, Clarice, and see you later at Q&A. So participants, if you also find the presentation of Clarice interesting, and if you have any questions about the activities and advocacies of their organization, Student Energy, please leave us a question in the Q&A box and comment in the chat box as well. Now, to give us a presentation about the works and advocacies of Society of Renewable Energy, let me introduce you to our second speaker, Zagi Berian. So Zagi is a youth researcher on technology, innovation, utilization, resource assessment, and education in renewable energy. He is the founder of the Society of Renewable Energy, an organization committed to advancing energy transition in Indonesia by fostering student awareness in RE. He currently works on research in the areas of geothermal energy, solar PV, solar thermal, energy storage, electric vehicle innovations, and energy solutions. Our speaker aspires to make his marks on Indonesia's energy transition through youth-driven strategies and on-market implementation. So Sagi, if you are also ready, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Alni, for the introduction. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone from wherever you are. Let me introduce myself again. My name is Zagi Berian. sorry, can I share my presentation by my own? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you also. Also, thanks for the committees for inviting me in amazing event today. In this occasion, I would like to present my presentation regarding how to increase the talent readiness with a case study of Indonesia. Let me start with the Society of Renewable Energy introduction. We are a youth organization that provides capacity building in Indonesia since 2019. Our goal to accelerate the Indonesian energy transition through inclusive youth empowerment and also multi-institutional collaboration. And we have missions such as spreading awareness and theoretical understanding on renewable energy issues. And then we want to accommodating youth synthesis and creation. And also we want to democratizing practical experience opportunities for the youth in our sectors. And last, we want to connect and initiate the collaboration through pentahelix model. And this is the list of SRE student chapters. Currently, we are in 34 universities in Indonesia, and we reach more than 2,000 students every batch, and one batch conducted in 1 year. And for your information, in this year, we want to expand to 40 student chapters in Indonesia. So let me start this topic today. I will start with the target of Indonesia. Our president, Mr. Joko Widodo, said that Indonesia will achieve the net zero emission in the 2060. Before that, Indonesia also committed to reduce the greenhouse gas, and 38% comes from the energy sectors. And which energy that will be used in reduction and in reducing the carbon dioxide? This slide will answer that question. In the left figure, we can see the Indonesian government through the energy strategy grand design start in the 2019 to 2035. It will be 38 gigawatt installed capacity, and the highest percentage comes from the solar photovoltaic power plant. And then in the right figure, we can see the reduction of the carbon dioxide. The highest contribution comes from the new and renewable energy power plant and also the energy efficiency. It indicates Indonesia will need a lot of talent to fulfill this demand. And who will fulfill this job demand? I will say youth. As mentioned before, youth has a key role to play in properly climate change mitigation within their respective communities. Regarding Indonesian, there are around 64.2 million youth based on the National Socio-Economic Survey. What can we create from this number, from a huge number of youth? Before we answer that question, I will share you the demographic in Indonesia. This is the youth profile that we conducted in our members in 2020. In gender equality, software technicalities, awareness of energy companies, knowledge of renewable energy, and soft skills of job recruitment process are in low level. It indicates there will be huge activities to increase these sectors. And from another sectors, such as the awareness of the government institution, interest in renewable energy, and multidisciplines background is in the higher level. But it still also needs another activities to maintain and also increase the level to the highest level. In the right figure, we conduct some research with collaboration with the Energy Academy Indonesia. We got 80% of youth are aware in the renewable energy jobs, and they aware of the skill set that needed to fulfill the demand of the industry. And for the Generation Z, we got several situational interests in renewable energy sectors. For the highest level, it comes from the triggered. It means the Generation Z needs triggered situational to interest in renewable energy sectors, but in the average value, they can interest in renewable energy by individual. And then we indicate several challenges in Indonesia. We divide it into 4 sectors. The first one is the knowledge, uneven educational standards, expensive external courses, and limited access to the discussion with academia or practitioners becomes a challenge for the youth in Indonesia. And also research and development. There are limited access for laboratory, limited high quality of experts, and limited fund of research and development. And the third is for the experience, limited access to involve in real project and support from the university. And the last for the job opportunities, low demand from the industry in Indonesia, and then low quality of human resource. And the last is limited platform for job opportunities, especially in the renewable energy sectors. So the factors are funding, collaboration, awareness, and access. So this is the government scheme to achieve the net zero emission. It will begin in the 2021 to 2060. From this scheme, we break down several pathline for youth. We want to propose some youth pathline. The first one is they have to conduct awareness activities to dissemination of awareness to the youth and the public. And the second, theoretical understanding, strengthen the understanding of the fundamental of renewable energy. And the third one is the practical experience, give them some hands-on experience or real experience to gain the broader network and also expand the horizon. And the last is the synthesis. So in the synthesis level, they can create some innovation product, some advocacy to another youth to involve in the energy transition. And this is some analysis from Global Management Consulting. These figures show us that the feed-in tariff will increase the installation of the renewable energy power plant. Once they reach the grid parity, it will stagnate. And how can we, yeah?
You got 3 minutes left.
Okay. And how can we reopening the market? The answers will come from the youth. So it is very important to help youth to upskilling their knowledge, upskilling their skill to fulfill the industry demand. So we hope the youth has a role to create a parity-driven market in the futures. And this is my last presentation. Let's green the world with us. If you have some question, you can contact me through this email and I will give back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Zaki. So you and the Society of Renewable Energy are actually proof that empowering youth could actually make a difference in the energy sector. So because as we can see, youth has attributes that can drive the change, and we got the ability to synthesize innovation like what you have mentioned. And we also got the energy and the adaptability to make them happen. So the role of the youth on parity-driven market is actually interesting, and I think that it would be something that the participant would also want to ask about in the Q&A. So additional, your bio says that you also aspire to make mark in the Indonesia's energy transition, and I could say, and definitely the participants will also agree that you are actually hitting the targets. So thank you for that. Okay. So now, participants, we are done with the presentations from our two speakers. And now I am opening the floor to the Q&A portion. So if may I request Clarice again to join us for this portion. Okay. Okay. So to kickstart the Q&A, I would like to ask our speaker first about some of my personal questions. which I bet many participants are also curious to know what the answers would be. So my first question is actually for Clarice, because I can see from your previous experience and background that you are really into renewable energy development in the Philippines. So what made you actually realize that you would want to pursue a career in this field?
Yeah, so that's a really great question, Alni. So thanks for that. I actually started back in university when I was doing an undergrad. I was actually a geologist by my undergrad, and I was in the field work in the southern Philippines when Typhoon Sendong hits, and it's different when you're like I'm 20 years old. I went there and I saw like firsthand the impact of climate change, and if I know a lot of people here are from the Philippines, but from our ASEAN friends, so that community was hit in the south of the Philippines, and that community was, you know, not visited frequently by typhoons, let alone like massive typhoons like Sendong. So I attended that. I was part of an impact assessment as a geology student, and that's when I realized that I want to take part in the works in climate change, whether that be in mitigation or adaptation. At the start of my career, I worked with renewable energy projects like geothermal, solar, and wind. And then right now, like I transition a bit on the nonprofit and really community building and empowering young people to actually be the drivers. Because yeah, as you said, like we really have the capacity and the energy to do so. So thanks, Ami.
Brilliant. Like if we really experience it ourselves, that is actually a great motivation why we do such things, right? So how about you, Zagi? Because you weren't just a part of your organization, Society of Renewable Energy in Indonesia. You are actually the founder. So may I also ask what has motivated you to start this organization?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I'm really interested in the renewable energy sector since I was in the campus. So in the third year of my life in the university, I start to research some renewable energy. I submit papers to the conference, and from that I very aware that there is a lot of demand in renewable energy in the futures. But I look around in Indonesia, some organization that focus in renewable energy and especially for youth, there are nothing. So I challenge myself, how can I provide youth maybe to gather the youth in one chambers and create some innovation to accelerate Indonesia in energy transition. So I think it's very interesting to conduct, and I conduct some interview to my friends in the college. They support me. They support me. They want to make it ideas happen, and also from that I pitch to the government, pitch to the in the industrial sectors. They really appreciate my ideas and they support my ideas. And yeah, currently we are in the 34 universities around Indonesia, and I will be glad if we can uh, from my from my perspective, I really happy if I see a lot of youth happy to help community development in their village, help people in the awareness of renewable energy, and conduct some collaboration event. And it motivate me to be part of this organization as well. Thank you, Alni.
Thank you, Sagi. That is really an inspiring one from you, because sometimes when, or like me personally, when I was just a student, I didn't really get to think about these things, but you actually was the one, you were the one that has actually initiated it for the Indonesian university, and now you have actually reached 34 university with connections to government and industries. This is definitely impressive feat for your organization. So actually, the reason why I asked this question is that I actually think that many of our participants here, the reason they have joined this webinar is that they also have the same thoughts like yours when you were just starting, and that they just didn't really know where to start, where to begin. And yeah, I know you would also agree. So although it has already been discussed in some of your presentation earlier, but to follow up on my previous question, what would be the advice that you can give to the participants who are just starting to consider involvements in renewable energy? Probably Clarice, to start
Yeah,
us.
okay. Yeah, I think what like my advice is to like go for your strengths. And like I know sometimes like it could be intimidating. For instance, you don't have a background in engineering or science. Maybe you're intimidated of like, okay, how can I participate in this space? But actually in our team, we're focused on multidisciplinary approach. So actually, you know, a lot of people who are have a social science background, for instance, they're really good in community engagement. And we need that to, you know, to spread the word that energy transition is something that has to happen at the ground level. So as I said a while ago, wherever you are, there's something for you to contribute to. And then like, don't be afraid to look for organizations like Student Energy and Zagi's organization who already have the works and can guide you throughout the whole process. Like energy transition and, you know, just thinking of the climate crisis in general can be very intimidating, and there's a lot of like issues, but then you just have to like find your like your passion, what area you want to work with, find your strength, and then find the people who can help you out. So that's it, Alni.
Yes, actually, that is actually a good answer. Like, first, really is to find your passion, find your strength. Because me also as well. When I started in the joining the A's, I actually meet people that from different backgrounds. Like even I am from engineering. There's a lot of things that I didn't know, especially in the energy policy side of things, financial aspects of things. So the energy sector is actually a multidisciplinary, as you have mentioned, and we really need the talents and the like attributes of everyone just to make the whole system work. And I would agree on you on that. And this is also a good insight from you to don't be afraid to look for organization, because I think if I would be a student, it would also be daunting task to check to start anything from my own. That's why I'm also impressed with Zaki, because he was able to work from the bottom, like establish his own organization. But for us, that it could be daunting for someone on a student level to find to start organizations. So we can definitely look for some organization that was already established. Yes, thank you, Clarice. How about you, Zagi?
Yeah, from my side, I agree with Clarice's statement, but maybe I will add a bit thoughts from my perspective. If you interest in renewable energy, please don't hesitate to study. And if you comes from a non-technical background, please do not have a paradigm that energy is only from technical background. No, it comes from multidisciplinary background. For example, when I go to the rural communities, I cannot communicate well to the rural villagers, but my friends from the social background, they can communicate very well to the rural villagers. So our project can be implemented in the rural area. I think it's very a simple thing that you have to keep to yourself. Do not hesitate to begin your study and start your career in the energy sectors. Maybe that's all from me, Alni. Thank you.
Thank you, Zaki, on that. Okay. So actually, since you are already working with your organization for quite some time, right? Can you share some specific experience now which made you feel most empowered as a youth in energy? Can we start with Zagi on that?
Maybe Clarice?
Okay, so Clarice, can
Okay.
you?
Yeah, okay. Sorry, can you repeat the question again, Alni?
Yeah, since you are already working with your organizations for some time now, have you had the experience, as a specific experience, which you really felt that you are most empowered as youth in energy? Like we youth can really do something like a aha moment for that. Do you have
Yeah.
those moments?
Yeah, totally. So I think I'll tap onto my experience when I was working in the Philippines. So I was like one of the youngest in the team back then, and I was tasked to coordinate, like task with the EPC contractors and then also help with like the regulatory aspect of the project. And basically, I just felt that level of trust from the management, even though I feel like I'm young, I'm like one of the youngest in the team. And that's when I felt like, I guess it's like for management to really trust their young people, put them out there, like, because we do have the training and with the right guidance, we can do the things that we are tasked to do so. And then if I think of things that inspires me most, for instance, for my work at Student Energy, I can say that it's our everyday work. It's a different atmosphere when when you hear a success story from a team, for instance, in Bolivia was able to do this regional dialogue, and they were able to address a lot of issues and have conversation with their leaders and young people. So, and me being in this space, I guess like most of the inspiration happens with the fact that we're building the community, we're empowering young people, and we're doing this like movement that is like way bigger than like my career goals. So yeah, that's it for me.
Wow, that is also inspiring just hearing that. Okay, how about you, Zagi? What?
Yeah. Last year, we conduct some National Youth Summit in renewable energy, and we got an achievement from Indonesian World Record Museum, or MURI. Maybe some Indonesian peoples are familiar with Record Muri. We got the Record Muri in Indonesia. We held a big event and reached 45,000 participants in those events. So I think it's very a huge event that we conducted in 2020, and from that many appreciation comes to our organization. For example, the ministers of energy, the minister of foreign, and etc., etc. They said thank you for the event, and after the event there are a lot of innovation comes from the youth. There are a lot of activities comes from the youth that inspires another people to help Indonesia through energy transition, and that's very memorable for me. And we committed to keep the good activities happen for the futures. Maybe that's all from me, Alni.
Truly inspiring answers from both of you. So now I think let me proceed to the specific questions also from our participants. So, okay, first would be for Miss Clarice. Do student energy face challenges in attracting to participate in your programs? If yes, what kind of challenges are they?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we actually have like a lot of unmet demand. So there's a lot of interest from young people globally to actually, join one of our programs, start their, clean energy projects and things like that. If and any, it's definitely that's why we're launching the solutions movement and doing a massive fundraising this decade, so that we can meet those unmet demand and ensure that we cater to everyone in every region. So to answer, the challenge is not really, the lack of participants or lack of interest in youth. That's definitely like, I feel like that's the reason why we're aspiring to do the work that we do and expand the work that we do, because there's definitely a lot of like interest. And yeah, that's exciting for all of us, knowing that the young people who will lead the energy transition are actually excited for this kind of work.
Interesting. So then for this next question is for Zagi. What do you think about the future energy transition after COVID pandemic?
Yeah, that's interesting question. From my perspective, there will be a huge demand from industry in the renewable energy sector. So for youths, be prepared on your skills, be prepared on your journey. There will be a huge demand, and you have to fight for the position. And let's begin your study as well. And I think in Indonesia, it will indicate a thousand of jobs that will be in the 5 years from now.
Actually, we have plenty of questions from our audience, but I was prompted that we are about to end this session. So probably for the questions from our audience, we will be sending you response from our panel after the session or after this event through emails. So please be informed of that. So, okay, for today, this is truly an engaging and interesting sessions with Clarice and Zaki. So I think any final words to our audience, perhaps also you would want to invite them to your future activities of your organization. Clarice?
Yeah, okay. So we have, I mentioned a while ago, we have the 24-hour virtual Student Energy Summit in October 8th. Yeah, pre-registration is open. And so I'll send it over to AF or ACE so that they can distribute it, the link to you. And then at the same time, if you already have that, community project and you want to gain the Energy Systems 101 and the project management skills, plus the mentorship, our Leaders Fellowship for 2022 will open by next month. So we'll send that over to you guys. And again, thank you so much for having me.
And Zaki, any final advice or words?
Yeah,
from you?
especially for the Indonesian youth, if you interest to join the Society of Renewable Energy, please visit our LinkedIn, Society of Renewable Energy, and our Instagram is sre.national, and also for the website sre.co.id. And last, thank you for the Clarice and Student Energy that inspired us to build the organization, and I hope we can sustainable as your organization. And thank you also for the committees.
Yes. Thank you again, Clarice and Zagi, for sharing us your experience and your knowledge about renewables and the role of youth in energy transition. I hope that this session also inspired our participants to pursue involvements in clean and renewable energy. So with that, I am officially ending this session. So back to you, Ms. Jen.
Thank you very much, Ms. Alni, and all speakers from the first session. It was truly insightful. Now, before we continue to our next agenda, I'd like to invite Ms. Rizky Dia Setiana, Communications and Public Relations Advisor at the GIZ, to give information related to ASEAN German Energy Program, Phase 2, Communications Channel and Products.
Thank you very much, Yenier. Do I sound clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Very good afternoon, Dr. Yang of ASEAN Foundations, Mr. Buntara of ASEAN Center for Energy, and Mr. Fauzianto from GIZ. I'm Rizky Destiana, GIZ Communications Advisors. I would like to take up 5 minutes of your time to mention briefly about our project and its communication channel and product. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. Previous one. Yeah. As mentioned before by Yaniar, our MC today, that AGEP is a jointly implemented project between ASEAN Center for Energy and GIZ. We have been working together for over 14 years, and we are happy to share and collect that information during our cooperations in our only website. The URL is available on your screen right now, agep.aseanenergy.org. So if you are looking for information about Germany and ASEAN cooperation in energy sector, you are very welcome to check out our website and join with the other 8,000 people every month in getting out updates very easily. It is also fast and mobile device friendly. So whenever you are, as long as you have a stable and good internet connections, you will be directed to our channel. Next slide, please. On our website, we have several products. We call it a flagship product from our project. Number one is country profile. So it's an infographic comprising information each country about the overview, national policy, as well as energy activities. In 2021, we also updated the informations with the energy outlook and also activities amidst during activities of energy during the pandemic. It is one-stop information that you will only find on our website. Next slide, please. This is how our country profiles 2020 and 2021 looks like. Next slide, please. The next product that we have on our website is stakeholder database. So we gather over 1,000 energy contact in the ASEAN regions, covering government, regional and national representative, private sectors, academia, as well as NGO. So if you are looking for someone in your community, your regions, or your countries, you may contact us, and let's see if we can connect you with someone that you are looking for. Next slide, please. The ASEAN RE guidelines. So this product is specifically made for private sectors who are looking for opportunity to invest in renewable energy in the ASEAN. So for example, if you are a young entrepreneurs who are looking for any opportunities in your countries to invest in renewable energy, you may also check our RE guidelines to see the potential investments that you could make. Next slide, please. Our website also has several publications, including guidelines, studies, and fact sheet. For example, you are students who are at the moment compiling a journal or maybe writing some nice articles, you can have a look at our website. It has a publication consisting of a lot of publications over the years, both from the ASEAN Center for Energy and GIZ. For example, if you're looking for energy efficiency mapping in the ASEAN region, we have that publication exactly in our publication, and also other studies and also fact sheets. Next slide, please. One of the flagship publications of ASEAN Center for Energy is called the ASEAN Energy Outlook. So it is the most updated publications, which comprise of energy information, projection, and analysis in 2020. Last year, the ASEAN Center for Energy launched the publications. So if you are looking for in-depth and comprehensive information about the ASEAN Energy Outlook, you are very welcome as well to check on our website. Next slide, please. We also regularly update what's going on within our project, our upcoming events, and also our previous project also reported in our story section. Next slide, please. We also have a quarterly newsletter, which consisting of information about our next and upcoming project, and also reporting and other publications that developed by our project. Next one, please. Last but not least, allow me to inform you again that at the moment we are organizing ASEAN Youth Photo Competitions. 10 winners have been selected and they are currently joining a photography training. And then we are going to choose 3 winners and 1 People Choice winner within the next few weeks. So stay tuned. If you are the selected winners, you may win the chance to our grand prizes. Stay tuned to our website as well if you are looking for other opportunities in energy sector, or if you want to work together in ASEAN and Germany cooperations in energy sector. Thank you very much. Back to you, Yaniar.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rizky, for the very insightful information. So for our audience, please do not hesitate to visit AGEP's communication channel. Now, before we continue to our next agenda, we will have another ice-breaking session led by Steven. So for those who haven't participated in the previous game, feel free to join this one. So Steven, I pass the screen to you.
Oh, hello everyone, I'm back. Hello to everyone on Facebook. Nice, hopefully you remember me. We have not forgot about you. So everybody, we'll play another Menti game. So just go to www.menti.com and the games shall start. Let me just quickly share it to everybody. So the first question is, over the past year, has women participation in renewable technology, energy technology increased in your country? And it's amazing to see that everyone has already started participating. We already had 140 and the majority has said yes. But it kind of saddens me that there's only moderately amount of women has been participating. Hopefully in the next 5 or so years, we can turn that no into a bigger yes. And that if I ask this question next 5 years, there'll be no more no's. It'll just be all yes. Well, it's amazing that the yes is slowly creeping. That one day that gender equality will be the new norm in terms of energy transition. Okay, I'll go to my next game. Thank you to everyone that has participated. And it's amazing to see the number of yes. Hey, so what positive change can male and female do to improve gender balance in sustainable energy field? The first one is help fight stereotypes of females. As we know, the energy sector is predominantly dominated by masculine traits. So it's very important that that we fight as a group, as a community, to fight this stereotype. The second one is more females in STEM academic courses. The most recent research has shown that only 22% of females or 32% of females work or study in STEM. So hopefully in the near future, more females, and like Mr. Zaghi said, the more we have, the better. The next one is employment quotas in energy companies. there's only about 22% of females that work within energy companies. So the more the merrier. The last one is gender target opportunities in high level position. We know that only 7% of females are in boardrooms. That is an unfair representation. So the more females in boardrooms, the better and the more stronger fit role models that females can have. And the last one, a change in consumer behavior to a more sustainable lifestyle. It's always good for all of us to change the way that we eat, the way we live, and the way we breathe to have a better and more sustainable future. So all the questions are right. And the last one is, what are some of your ideas to help foster female contribution in the energy transition in your country? Support them to build it. We need to always do more research. And thank you to everyone that has attended from Facebook and Zoom. And that's why everyone's here. Help people for education. Yes, we always need more. It's not just STEM, it's a collaboration and a conjunction of different fields, from like sociology to psychology to STEM. Together, we can always make a better and brighter future. And yes, we need to develop more female rights, as energy policy is not a neutral policy. What else? What can I say in this? About waste management? Yeah, the high fast fashion industry is bad for the environment. So it's important that we recycle and that we always rebuild and that we repair ourselves. And the last one I would like to say is job opportunities. It is important that companies and government create policies to create a more sustainable and equal opportunity for both genders. Okay, everybody, my game is over. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll give it back to my colleague, Jenna.
Thank you, Stephen, and the audience for the ice-breaking session. Now we will proceed with the second session of today's talk show. But before that, I'd like to remind our audience that we will pick 5 persons who ask questions in the Q&A box to receive a special package from the ASEAN German Energy Program. So please don't hesitate to raise your question. Now let's continue to the second session of the talk show. This session will discuss the role of women in energy transition, and it will be moderated by Ms. Hannah Manuela, advisor at DGIZ. So Ms. Hannah, I pass the screen to you.
Hello, Jen. Thank you so much for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the second session. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Hannah Heti Manuela. I'm the Capacity Development Advisor for GIZ under the ASEAN German Energy Program. And today I will be responsible for moderating this session. This session will discuss how energy transition can create opportunity and also benefit for women. We will also learn what is the current situation and the challenge for women in energy sectors. That's why we will gain perspective and also discuss more with the panelists. And with that, I also want to encourage all of you to submit your question in the chat box or in the question box, and we will collect and address them at the end of the session. So for the first presentation, we will hear from Ms. Munlika Somkano. She is the Director of Energy Cooperation Section, Strategic and Planning Division under Department of Alternative Energy Development and Efficiency, Ministry of Energy in Thailand. She has with more than 7 years of experience in this field, and Ms. Munlika has involved in many international energy fora and activities, both multilateral and bilateral cooperation like ASEAN, IRENA, UN, and APEC. She has been the Vice Chair for APEC Expert Group of New and Renewable Technologies for 2 terms in a row. She has been dedicated herself in promoting international energy cooperation on renewable energy and energy efficiency development in Thailand. So without further ado, Please welcome the first speaker, Ms. Monica Soprano. Ms. Monica, the screen and times are yours.
So thank you so much, Miss Hannah. Good afternoon from Thailand, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Thai chair. Okay. So this is is it my great pleasure and honor to be here with you today. The role with you today at the role of the woman in the energy transitions. Let me start by thank you ASEAN Center for Energy, GSS, and ASEAN Foundation and their partner for their efforts in preparing this event. Today, I would like to share with you about the role of women in energy transition, but I would like to focus on the case of Thailand. The next slide, please. Before I talk about the opportunity of women to take the role in the energy sector, I would like to let you know the main barrier and challenge of the women in energy sector with the result survey by the International Renewable Energy Agencies, or in short we call IRENA. They have two kind of the barrier of the challenge. One is the barrier to entry to the job, and the second the barrier to retention and advancement career path. First, I would like to talk about the barrier to entry to the job. They have three kinds. One is the perceptions of the gender role. The entry points are important with respect to vocational job, especially in the view of women's access to the job information and networking opportunity. The second is cultural and social norms. Traditionally, the energy sector had been dominated by men, and it become increasingly clear that the sector had not yet changed the many barriers that prevent gender parity and inclusion. Leader and decision maker are still men. The strategy from the energy future are designed based on data that segment as the norms. The third one is the prevailing hiring practice. The preference of men recruit women often lack of the necessary trainings had not been designed with the woman in mind or hard works outside. The second barrier is about the retaining and advancement career paths. They have the cultural and social norm often make difficult for women for fully social engagement. It's normally the women they spend their time for the household works and childcare. The lack of flexibility in workplace. From the survey result is around 49% of the point that the gender, there are lack of the organization lack of the gender sensitive policy and training opportunity and in equity in ownership of assets. The lack of mentorship opportunity. Women still lack of the opportunity for training and developing her skill in energy sector, mainly of training experience from civil works on site and women networking in her organization. This is called gas sellings, or the refer to invisible barrier that prevent the women from being promoted to higher like at the high level positions in with and organizations. Next slide, please. This slide is I would like to tell you about the population in Thailand. The currently is around 66 million people. So we have the equal gender, like we have women around 51%, and the men is around 49%. So in Thailand, women participation in the management positions same better than the global and APEC regions average. The women and men are share almost equal. This is the current situation in Thailand. Next slide, please. So now, before I try to talk about how the women have the opportunity to be engaged in the energy sector, like in the time of like an energy transition era. So as you are aware that we are now in energy transition, and disruptive technology is playing an important role. All countries have to adapt with this, including Thailand. Recently, Thai government just announced the National Energy Plan, or in short we call NEP 2022, under the concept of cooperating with the energy security and competitiveness for sustainable energy future, and go towards carbon neutrality by 2065 up to 2070. So this is our new plan that just released. The NEP 2022 will provide the development policy direction in the energy sector for both government agency and private company. The NEP 2022 will combine, synchronize the 5 action plan. So we have gas plan, power development plans, alternative energy development plan, oil plan, and energy efficiency plans. Under this plan, toward energy transition, some direction will be increased RE portion in the new power development plan. We target around 50% just for the new power plan. I would like to point this one. The develop new technology, smart infrastructure, smart system under 4D1E, and also we try to promote EV. We have the target that we and also we have deleted the plan already, and also we have to look into the regulation for the new market and new energy market platforms, such as for the consumer of blockchains. Right now, we just run like a sandbox, and also, of course, we have to promote renewable energy and energy efficiency. Next slide, please. With this new plan, the promotion clean energy and more RE utilization, this will creates more chance for women to take more role in energy business, and should be improved to work society equally play an important role to develop clean and energy in transition era. There are some reasons why women can involve more in energy sector. So the first thing is equal gender in this sector is now the society, or maybe the perspective, they change. Mostly the government have energy policy and program integrated women experience, expertise, capacity, and avoid risks. And in gender gap.
Ms. Monica, you have 2 minutes left to wrap up your presentation.
Okay. Yeah, between men and women. So the second is this, about the training and skill development program. So we have more the program for the women to be involved there. And the third one is women are intend more to work in this field. So like to work in renewable energy sector, and the last one is challenging culture and social norms. So this is the hardest point, and real gas selling, the government has concerned action taken to reduce barrier to import for the women. So the last slide, I think this is one I would like to share with you, is the career opportunity for the women in Thailand is there are many. So they can be engineer, they can be an economist, any other kind that they can be. It depends on your capability. So I think we have like Thailand is a culture in women and men are accepting each other in equality. But I think this is I would like to say. So in my conclusion, the energy transition has always been a citizen purchase currently due to the primary goal and solution for the climate crisis than men, but women are important uh, important stakeholder who might support the energy transition. So this is we think that women can help us in level the policy and also the implementer in the in the community. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Munlika, for your insight and interesting presentations. And again, I would like to remind all the participants and audience to submit your questions, and we will address them right after the second session. From Ms. Munlika's presentation, we learned about the current situation and the challenges. And again, there is an opportunity for women to involve in the energy sector. And now we're moving forward to the second presentation that will be delivered by Ms. Sri Mumpuni. She is the Executive Director of the People-Centered Business and Economic Institute, or IBECA, from Indonesia. She is also agriculture engineer who has been campaigning more than 20 years on utilization of renewable energy plants to develop economic growth in rural Indonesia. Her organization, IBECA, has successfully installed more than 80 micro projects and solar PV technology for water pumping across the nation. Her current project is training and deployment of the young engineers to facilitate community development programs in remote and underdeveloped rural areas in Indonesia. So now we would like to welcome the second speaker, Ms. Sri Mumpuni. The screen and times are yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I know that this is a very interesting issue, and for me especially, I've been dealing for the last 30 years with the grassroots by delivering energy to the rural area of Indonesia, and even one in the Philippines and one in Africa. And what I understand, I would like to share with all young people here is, well, when you start talking about the energy transition and how the gender mainstreaming, how the woman can be involved, the best thing is do something in the ground level and address those who really in the direct need of infrastructure, such as clean water supply and sanitation and energy. Once we are successful in putting this in the grassroots, you will definitely helping the woman, helping the woman to reduce their burden. That's why I would like to share really best practice in the ground level, two best practice. One is utilizing the solar PV for clean water supply and sanitation. And the second one is a very small micro hydro that really removing the burden of the women. But before that, I would like to inform you since 2015 to 2017, we are conducting a Patriot Energy Program, which deploying young engineer to the very remote area of Indonesia to stay for 1 year, helping the local people to be able to fulfill their energy demand, creating any kind of renewable energy sources for them to have their own electricity from renewable. This is why we pushing the renewable, because once you're talking about renewable energy, small scale, you are talking about democratization of energy. You give space to our own people, to the grassroots people, to have their own energy. So this is also very good starting point for the young, for the youth to know exactly to do that. And nowadays, just this year, I'm so happy that from the 100 young engineers that we are selecting, well, 52 are women, young women engineers who are pass all the tests, but it's a very complicated and very difficult test because it's they are going to be sent to the very remote area of Indonesia as well. We call it patriot energy as well. So this is one of the way to promote that women can do more, you know, actually, as long as there is a chance. Okay, well, to make it, I'm afraid I will putting so much time on my speech. So maybe the best thing now is I can share my PowerPoint presentation to all of you. Wait a second, this one. Well, this is okay. This is solar PV for clean water supply and sanitation. You know, I'm using community-based approach. Well, this is women, I said, women and solar PV for clean water supply, community-based approach. As I mentioned before, well, I'm not talking about in the high level, but I'm talking about how to fulfill the needs of, you know, energy and also basic needs for women in the grassroots. This one, when we starting this, the best thing for us is talk to the community, and then we call it live-in concept, you know, inviting young engineer to stay in the village and talk with the local people. How can we fulfill their needs? We are using this 27.14 kilowatt peak. If you see, this is very nice area, but during the dry season, the color will be all brown. And this community live very nearby, very huge big dam, which needed by the people who live not in that area, but below. Unfortunately, the community who live surrounding this area having difficulties to get the water, and the women play a very important role in fetching the water. So the best thing for us to do is, what if we can providing renewable energy and bringing this water close to their neighborhood. So this is just like 1 year ago or 2 years ago, and we're so glad that this kind of activities, if we can spread all over ASEAN countries, you know, I think we will really help the women, you know, to release their burden, because fetching the water is a woman job. Unfortunately, I don't know, maybe in some culture it is become a woman job, but in the other area, I don't know. But as far as I understand, I've been traveling to many places, women are actually the backbone of the family in providing the basic needs of the family. So the second one is, I would like to move my slides. Would you help me to move my slides? Sorry, this is, okay, maybe I have to put this. Nah, thank you. This is the principles that I would like young people everywhere. If you want to be successful, this is the important principle. We have to put it in place whenever we are trying to do something to help the community to get their own infrastructure and to ask them to participate in these activities. This is like when you plant a seed, okay? local resources has to be changed to local contribution. When you plant a seed, this is below, you need trust and sincerity, honesty and truthful. The way we are, delivering our message to the local community, whenever we want to do something, actually is for them, but we have to make sure that they really having a passion to contribute. Well, could be their labor, or we call it in-kind contribution. So the program that we are going to make, it's just like planting a seed, because the local community has motivation, self-confidence, self-valuation, creativity, self-reliance, and positive experience. The program should have very good orientation. Also, the formulation has to be realistic. And don't forget, everywhere, the organizational is very important. If there's already exists one, we have to increase their capacity or capability. But if there isn't any, we have to create. Okay. And technical appropriateness play a very important role. Otherwise, we are going nowhere, because the local community capability, the best technology has to be to bring as close as possible to the community capacity. Subsequent cost for sustainability, what it is. Many government projects are not successful because everything is going for free to the local community. We cannot do that. At least we're not looking for profit, but we're looking for sustainability of any program that we are implementing. So subsequent cost for sustainability, it means that local community has to contribute, such as, paying the water bill, paying the electricity bill. This is what we have to prepare and make the local community understood. Consideration of political structure. Indeed, this is very important whenever we go to the local community, because before we build something, we have to make sure that the person that can help us to make this program successful, we have to find the local champion or the very influential people that can support the program. Because we have also to create awareness that the program is not for us. The program is for the community themselves. But this is not easy if we using this program mostly the top-down approach. So this is what we call the bottom-up.
Sri Mumpuni,
yes,
you have 2 minutes left to wrap up your presentation.
Sure, I'll finish soon. Then, okay. Well, this is again, Yeti nggak bisa lagi Yeti. I have to. I'm sorry. This is my. Well, my computer has something wrong. Okay, thank you. Everything has to consider of political stability, favorable in economic and social trends, and good governance. As an outsider, we are coming, giving advice, training, technology, and financial. This is like manure. Has to be complementary, transparent, open, well-dosed, time balanced, and continuously monitored. If we are successful with the root, you see this, meaning that we create empowerment in the personal level. And the tree is the structural empowerment. The institution can be in it, So everything here is tangible and can be measured. The objective and outcome of the development can be achieved easily. Okay, so I have to make it very quickly. Whenever we come to the local community, as I mentioned, live in concept, we have to put local community respect. We are quiet and listen to them, so we know what is the local community vision, what is the practical desired future. Okay, and by doing that, we will see the underlying contradiction what's going on in the community that we are going to develop something. The issues of obstacle can be easily be seen. Then we can start with proposed action, having a strategic activity so that the goal can be achieved. The goal is changes in living condition, and substantial new vision of local community can be seen very clearly. Okay, well, this is what I call the grassroots mobilization, is aggregating community vision to get desired future condition, structuring community vision to be more feasible to implement whatever the program is, mobilizing the community to work hand in hand to achieve the desired future. Community development principles has to be passion, have to come up from the community itself. Above all, if the community or the people do not wish to be helped, leave them alone, give them a chance to think. And development must be a participatory, a bottom-up exercise where ordinary people, all members of the community, can understand, initiate, and control the process. Its principal contribution is to enhance the range of human choices for all members of the community without discrimination. I think this is all about what I can share with you. I'm sorry that I cannot share the film where all the women, participating in the development process. Actually, the film, but I share it in the chat room, so maybe you have your own time to have a look at it. Well, thank you very much. I hope by having understanding of what I'm sharing, all the very old experiences for the last 30 years, it will help the young generation whenever they would like to do anything, on renewable energy development, clean water supply, on whatever to the community. This will help you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bu Tri Mumpuni, for sharing the best practice and lesson learned from the grassroots activity that you have conducted for the last 30 years. And now we're in the question and answer session. And we'll pick the first two questions and address it to the panelists. So for the first question, we have from Rosie Marie from Philippines. And this question is addressed to Ms. Monica. And the question is, how do we effectively address the barriers to job entry for women? And what policy recommendation in experience have addressed this? So would you like me to repeat the question again, Ms. Monica?
No, thanks. So thank you for the questions. In case of Thailand, I can say that for example, for the government side, we have not addressed the barriers to job entry, but before this, in the policy level, they have talked about the gender equal. So in the policy level, it had not mentioned, but in terms of the practice, we have the equal. When you would like to apply for a job with the government, for example, you would like to be the engineer in some organization. In that application, they cannot mention about that. They require the man or woman. They just give the equal gender to on men and women. So it means for the this policy recommendations, I think it depends on each country, because for Thailand they have they try to improve the quality of both gender. So we try to follow the global trend. For example, in APEC or in the UN, when you create some project, they say you have to encourage more the women to participate in the project. So it means the global trend is need the women to be involved in the energy sector more. And so in Thailand, they try to adapt with the international trends. So something like that. So we don't. This is we do, but for the policy recommendations, I don't think we don't have like the policy to say directly. We do in practice, and also the women have to show their ability and capability to performance and to show how much they can do and try to make the men to trust her or something like that. So is it like the normal practice? If you have the capability, you can get a higher position. This is the like the free market for the labor in Thailand. But in private sector, in some organization, they still need, like to mention, they would like to recruit some employee that they would like to get only the men or something like that. But for the government, they cannot say this is maybe the role that try to be contribute for the equal gender in Thailand.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mulika, for sharing the perspective from the Thailand. And yes, it's also important to encourage women in projects, like also with AGEP, we also provide the equal participation for all men and women in every event. That's also same like the principle that you already apply in the project and also in Thailand. And moving forward,
can I ask up, because maybe they in Thailand they might concern about the education level. So this is more important than the gender and your experience, your capability. So this is more important, and this is.
Yes, thank you so much for adding that. We will also address the next question, and this is also for both panelists. So Ms. Mulika and Ms. Trimumpuni can answer this. And the question is, what are the most important advice can you give to the youth, especially women, who want to start a career in energy sector? Because we know energy is male-dominated sectors, but maybe you can give some inspirational message or motivation. How can we start a career on this?
Okay. Well, since early 2000, it means it's already 21 years now, I always become the only woman in any organization, like Indonesian Electrical Power Society and then Indonesian Renewable Energy Society. That's in the early time, but now there are many women already in that organization. Well, for me, you have to have an endurance, never give up. If you're not successful, or you think that, well, this is, you definitely you cannot give up, and you have to have a big, huge courage to make sure that you will be successful, because you do this with your big passion, you love your work, and make sure that your work is really giving benefit for many people. Then you have to make sure this is very important, and I live with this, I love this work, and my life will be meaningful for many people. So if you are thinking that way, whatever, not only in the energy, but in any other sector, but especially in energy, I'm sure you will be very successful. Even if in the energy there are male dominance work, I believe too. So you can have a very good place, even a very special place, because you put yourself in such place that you can be successful, because you really have a big courage. And well, in my opinion, is endurance is a very important role. Don't give up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Trimoponi. Ms. Mumika, would you like to answer that?
So for me, I think I have the idea like Ms. Niti has said, because you have to love your job, and you have like a you have to love your job that you have to do. So it means like you have to donate yourself to an active participate in any path that and never give up if you still can do it. And don't talk that it is too hard. You have to pass many barriers or many challenges that you have to go through. That is the first thing. So I saw many people, the new generation. So I think they always give up when they have to work hard, or they found some barrier in front, and then they go back to me and then ask me to solve the problem. But the first thing, you have to try to solve the problem by yourself, and then you will get more experience, and then will help you to improve yourself. So don't give up. Don't ask the people to help you. At least you cannot do it. So you have to do it by yourself first, and don't concern only the money that you or the salary. The first thing, you have to love your work, and then everything will go smoothly. So, and have to be patient if you work with the government, because you get the small amount the salary at first, but you got only the security job. This is for the government side. So if you would like to get the higher the salary, you have to work with the private sector or the international organization, but you have to work hard. So that is and you have to try to learn everything. Don't stop study. It's very important. If you would like to solve the problem at your work, the first thing, you don't stop study. You have to learn. All the people never know everything, so we have to learn every day, every time at work. So this is the point that is very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mumika, for inspiring message to encourage the youth, especially women, to also keep learning and also motivate themselves to also fairly compete in the workforce. So there is one question from Ravati, Malaysia, and this question can be also addressed from both panelists. And the question is, how do we convince women to get out of their shells and involve them in science, technology, and engineering, mathematics, or STEM, so they can contribute to energy transition? Because we know the number of women students in STEM is also low. How can we also convince them to involve in this? Maybe Bu,
well, this is remind me when we have very big, huge gathering in 2016 with Madam Hillary Clinton. You know, that's they're trying to invite all women. You know, but for me, the best thing is you have to start in a very early years of life. Right now, at the moment, I'm dealing with 54 kids, you know, and I'm so happy because the boys only 11, the rest are women, and I'm showing them that you can build a bridge, you can make an irrigation channel, because all the villagers You can make a very good, how do you call it, irrigation channel to help the farmers. If you are an engineer, you can make a very nice bridge that people can cross the big river because you are an engineer. I'm maybe a bit, they call it like, well, you are really dominated on that science piece, but it is make them interesting to show the reality that how important is women play a role in helping the women themselves, because if you have a bridge, then the woman who trying to go back from where they are to other village, they don't have to use a canoe, or they just do that. Everything that is really seen, tangible, they can start thinking, and they will be very interesting. You show them the airplane, who's making the airplane? It's an engineer, and everything that are related to the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is you can see from the real life, everyday real life, and then introduce them, showing them. This is, I think that's the best thing to improve the numbers of women starting from the early life, the childhood. Thank you.
Would you like to add, Ms. Munlika?
So I'm thinking. so actually, for example, in Thailand, for the engineer, mathematics, or the science, the student in Thailand, they have both men and women. So it depends on the capability. So I am not sure, because actually the women, they encourage themselves, would like to participate in the engineer field or the science or something, because that field can give more opportunity and also the salary for them, and then in the future, because this career can give the future well-being, so that they know what they should do. So I think in ASEAN as well, the women also prefer to study in the engineer field, or in the scientist, any field that they can get in the best career, and this is, I think it depends on the perspective of each persons. Not I cannot say, because they know the way, they know future, and they have their hopes and their dream, what they want to be. And I think both of the gender, men and women, they have their dream. I would like I also would like my son to be the engineer, but he denied. Because when you become the engineer, you can get the highest the salary. Now, for example, in my office, they have a more opportunity in their career when they are the engineer. So this is more chance, more opportunity. So they know, but something. So we have to give the true information to them when they are young, what they should do, and let them do by themselves what they want to be. so we for the this is the new era, the new normal practice. So we have to tell them what they have to be integrate or adapt themselves with the IT, IoT, or something like that. So I cannot say that how can we encourage the women, because in Thailand they are both equal. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your perspective on this. And thank you so much for answering all the question and answer. And allow me to summarize several points that we have discussed and also from your presentation. From Ms. Mulika's presentation, we understand that there are a lot of challenges for women in energy, from barriers to entry the job, even to the retentions for advancement career paths, because some of the organization lack of the flexibility in the workplace and also insufficient career promotion and mentoring programs. But the good news is there is a lot of opportunity for women by creating tailor-made training and skill programs to attract and retain talent. So from Ms. Sri Mumpuni presentation, we also learn how can we engage with the community in the grassroots level, especially women, by using the community-based approach and participatory development principles. And these bases can support women empowerment to solve the grassroots problems. And again, to all youth out there, there is also a message from our panelists to keep the curiosity and also passion, have a passion to love your work and believe your work impact others people's lives. And with that, I would like to wrap up our session. Thank you so much, Ms. Mumpuni and Ms. Mulika for the session. Unfortunately, time is up, and I would like to give the floor back to the host for closing event. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Hannah, for summing up our second discussion session today. It was truly an eye-opening and inspiring session. Now, before we enter the last agenda of our talk show, I'd like to kindly invite all speakers to give 1-minute closing statement in regards to today's topic, which is the role of youth and women in energy transition. So I think we can start with Ms. Clarice, followed by Mr. Sagi, Ms. Mulika, and lastly, Ms. Tri. So Ms. Clarice, you may give your closing statement.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Jenior. So first, again, I'd like to thank you guys for organizing such an engaging event and thank all the participants who stayed with us. I think the fact that we have a lot of attendees show that there's actually a lot of interest for young people and women to participate in the energy transition. So that's not, that's a fact that there's that interest. So it's just a matter of us on how we can optimize collaboration, doing multidisciplinary approach to optimize these opportunities so that together we can reach our target, which is to create a more sustainable energy future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Clarice. Up next, Mr. Sagi.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the committees and congratulations for the event. I want to share my thought to the youth, especially for me also. Let's keep moving forward to study in the climate change sectors. We have to be a decision makers for the futures. The futures is also in my own. And thank you so much. Let's keep moving forward. That's all from me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Sagi. Up next, I'll give the floor to Ms. Mulika.
So thank you so much for to invite me to join with you today. I hope that some information that I present today is useful for some people. And what I would like to say, because today this my topic is the role of the woman. So if you are the woman, please have your confidence to do everything and do it. Don't give up. And this is I would like to say, because in ASEAN it still have the gender norm for, that intend for the men. So don't give up. You should have your confidence that you have the capability equal to the men. So this is the first thing you have to believe yourself. So thank you so much and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mulika. Such an important message for all the women. And lastly, let's welcome Ms. Tri to give her closing statement.
Your mute. It is unmute.
Oh, Mystery, sorry, you're muted. Please unmute yourself first.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, everybody, start small by yourself. Everything will be bigger. Be consistent and never give up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's such a powerful message. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we will move on to the last agenda of our event today. As mentioned earlier, the organizer has chosen 5 attendees from the Q&A box below to receive a special package from the ASEAN German Energy Program. All right, so the selected attendees can be seen on the screen. Congratulations to Hein Tet from Myanmar, Nur Azati Syahira Maidin, Rose Marie from Philippines, Raifati from Malaysia, and Lutvia Anggraini from Indonesia. For Nur Azati, please inform the organizer on which country you are from. And for all of the selected attendees on the screen, thank you for raising interesting questions during this talk show. To claim your prize, please screen capture the screen that you're seeing right now and DM it to ASEAN Foundation's Instagram or Facebook page along with your full name, complete address, and phone number. The package will be shipped to your address. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the end of today's talk show. To our audience, you can visit the survey link that the committee has provided in the screen. Please complete the survey to earn your e-certificate before 27 August at 5 p.m. Jakarta time. We will send the e-certificate to your email. Okay, for the committee, perhaps we can type the link as well in the chat. Yep, perfect. All right. So don't forget to fill the survey if you would like to get your e-certificate. Lastly, before we close, I would like to address one of the most commonly asked questions that we at the ASEAN Foundation often receive, which is how can I get involved with ASEAN Foundation's program and where do I start? To answer that, I'd like to encourage our audience to follow ASEAN Foundation social media platform and sign up for our newsletter for frequent and most up-to-date information. Through this channel, the ASEAN Foundation delivers opportunity-based contents and often include further instruction on how to apply and what you need to do to get involved. Lastly, in regards to the ASEAN photo competition that is organized with the support of the ASEAN German Energy Program, I'd like to congratulate all finalists that have been shortlisted last week. Over the next few weeks, the finalists will participate in a virtual visual storytelling workshop with the Photo Book Museum. So once again, congratulations to all selected finalists and huge appreciation to all applicants who have submitted their powerful photo stories. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished speakers and moderators, excellencies, we have finally reached the end of today's event. On behalf of the ASEAN Foundation, I would like to thank our panelists for the very insightful discussion and our audience for your active participation. We look forward to having you at our next event. And until then, please stay safe. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you,
Thank
Hannah.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, all the speakers. Thank you, Steven. Bye.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you,
Mundeka. Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye.
Everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ASEAN Foundation, for excellent arrangement.